Welcome to this Android channel. And what is rooting? We're going to talk about security in the next few days, and one of the things that we're going to start talking about is rooting a Android device. So one of the things that happens in Android is that it's a open source operating system, which is very different from the iPhone's iOS, which is a very closed system that is owned by Apple, and only Apple will tweak or play with the system. On Android, I like to say Android is the equivalent of Windows for phones. It is an open operating system, although Windows is not an open operating system. I'm just going to say this. Windows is also owned by Microsoft, and it's controlled by Microsoft. It's not an open system. On Android, it's an open system. That means it contains code that does not, nobody owns the source of it. It's open source, which means everybody can take the code and do what they want with it, or almost. There are guidelines, like on Linux. You got to follow certain rules, but if you follow the rules, you pretty much do what you want. Rooting a Android system, what is that? Well, you might be surprised to learn that Android, even though it's open source, is a little bit closed. It's within a little box, like iOS. That's why you got to get your software from the Google Play Store, for example. Oh yeah, you can get it outside, but technically from the Google Play Store, and you got to follow certain rules. But when you root Android, that means you are a super user. That means you are the top user that can do whatever you want. And that is one of the first dangers of rooting an Android phone. Sometimes rooting is necessary for certain types of applications, and because of certain pieces of software that might need to control certain areas, or whatever happens, the software might need to have full access to your device in order to work. And so you'll need to root the device for that. So there are cases where rooting is okay, even though it is a delicate thing to do, because you know what you're doing, because you know that it will enable you to control certain aspects of the operating system and of whatever you try to do. But remember that rooting also opens your device to a lot of problems, because it overrides every security aspect of the Android operating system. If you look at Android news a little bit, you'll understand that security is already a delicate situation on Android, because not every device is up to date with the latest security. Not every device is, available for the latest patches. And what happens suddenly is that this opens the door to even more problems, because already if you have a unpatched Android phone and you root it, you not only have an unpatched system that's already a little delicate on security, now you just gave access to whatever. So whatever you install has full access. It can do anything it wants. Anything it wants. And you don't know what could happen. Okay? There's a lot of kind of gray areas in here. I saw a case where a manufacturer refused to fix a phone because it was rooted, thus meaning it could have created the problems that we've seen. So anyways, rooting gives you full access, and in certain cases is necessary for certain types of I have one radio application that controls a device. And you know, since Android 7, what's nice is Android 6 and 7 and 8, that device is controllable without having to root. But before Android 6, the only way to have access to the device was to root your phone, so you have full access. And of course, when you know what you're doing, it's okay. But remember, you have benefits. There are things you can do when you root your phone or your device or your tablet. But remember, you're exposing yourself to a lot more problems if everything fails. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up, and this week will be Security Week for Android devices.